Welcome to episode 2 of Toys, Tabletop, and Beyond. I'm Bobbie.
I'm Chad.
And today we're going to be talking about, well, primarily toys, I think, today. But, yeah. So, very, very briefly, some channel stuff. Basically, been doing a lot of videos on horror movies lately because it's October, and apparently Halloween translates to horror movies. I mean, I kind of get it, but on the other hand, I kind of don't. So
I recently went and watched a Christmas movie in theater.
What?
Terrifier 3.
You'll have to explain to me later how that's a Christmas movie, but I'll take your word for it. I haven't watched the other two, so.
Santa being in the movie is intrinsic to the plot, thus it is a Christmas movie.
All right. I'll go with that. So, that's a lot of what we've been seeing on there lately, and I know this is going to be a little bit of a diversion, but I do want to get Chad's commentary on something, so I don't know if we're going to have time to actually do this whole separate video. So we're going to cram it in right here. I've done a few videos on The Thing, both the Carpenter movie from the 80s and the prequel from 2011.
Okay.
So, where do you fall on who is or is not a thing at the end of the movie?
Which movie?
Well, the original. Let me be crystal clear. Whenever I say that, I do mean the one from the 80s, because technically the one from the 80s is a remake of an older movie called Thing from Another World. So whenever I say the original, I mean the John Carpenter movie, even though technically it's not. But that's what I'm going to call it. So here we go.
Okay. So which two are still... It's McCready and...
Childs.
Child's alive at the end of the original.
Yes, to the best of our knowledge, they are the only two left.
We see McCready sitting there drinking. He drinks from a bottle.
We see him sitting there.
He has a bottle, though. Does he not?
He does. However...
No, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I might need the refresher. He drinks from the bottle.
No, McCready doesn't ever drink from the bottle that we see.
Really? I know at the very end, it looks like he's going to take a drink, and then it goes black.
Well, he passes the bottle to Childs.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of contention is that McCready wouldn't have had time to grab just a bottle of booze. Because he had bottles with him, but they were full of gas or kerosene, and he was using them to firebomb the base. So if he has one with him, the prevailing theory is that that's not alcohol that's in it.
Here's my thing. I think Childs is the thing.
Okay.
McCready is not.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of arguments back and forth on why one is and one isn't. What I understand the best, and what I've seen, is the Thing's breath does not mist up when exhaling.
Well, I know people point to that, but having rewatched it recently, I am almost certain that we do see Child's breath at one point in the conversation.
I might have to rewatch it. I think Childs is the Thing and McCready is still McCready.
I do lean that way myself, but more so for the whole bottle part. Because I think the bottle is full of gasoline or kerosene, and the Thing has no idea what that tastes like. So it's just copying its behavior and drinks it without knowing what it is. And that's why McCready chuckles after it drinks it, because he's like, shit. It's that, Childs is not what he appears to be. But due to his other statement of, well, if either of us have any surprises for the other, I don't think we're in any position to do anything about it. Because he knows that if he is, he's screwed, so.
Apparently there's a sequel game where McCready survives or something. I don't know.
Well, there's a game and a comic book. I was given to understand the comic book was supposed to be canon. And in it, McCready survives and Childs is a thing.
Yeah.
However, thanks to the prequel, if they really truly wanted to, which I don't think they should, by the way, but if they really truly wanted to, they could have Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character show up, because she was alive at the end.
Yeah.
and then proceed from there with like digitally de-aged Kurt Russell and Keith David. Because like we know they can de-age Kurt Russell, we saw it in Guardians 2.
Yeah.
But he'll have a beard to hide a lot of the face now.
Yeah.
Keith David's got a beard too.
Yeah.
You know,
there's one issue with that.
Like I said, I wouldn't. Just to be clear, I would not do it.
There's not a de-aging issue with that.
What's that?
Kurt Russell and Keith David aren't exactly in the same shape they were for the Thing.
That's all right.
It went from sorta to.
Well, that's they can fix that. That's no problem.
And folks out there, I am.
Rotund?
Yes.
But yeah. Okay, so I guess since you asked me, what about the other one?
What do you mean the other one?
Well, since you asked me to specify which movie, that tells me you have thoughts on the 2011 one also. Which I guess centered around was Joel Edgerton actually a thing, or did Mary Elizabeth Winstead just murder an innocent guy?
I'd have to rewatch them both.
Yeah, it would take careful examination, because the catch was she was like, your earring's gone.
Yeah.
And he apparently reached for the wrong ear.
Mm-hmm.
But then like it pleads with her, and up to that point
we've never seen it plead.
We never seen it plead. We have seen it talk once it's a person.
Mm-hmm.
But we never see we don't really see complicated conversation out of it, which does make me question certain things. Like, I'm kind of questioning if the Thing actually even owned the flying saucer, or if that was just some poor alien schmuck who landed on the Thing's planet, and then the Thing killed it, copied it, and took the ship. Like, there's literally nothing in the movie to back that up, but it's one of those, like, maybe kind of things.
Or the original alien captured the Thing, had it imprisoned, and was transporting it for trial.
Yeah, I mean, could be anything. No pun intended.
Yep. No, those are on a list of movies I need to rewatch anyways. So yeah. I might have to rewatch it and we revisit this topic.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get your take on it, because I know Owen hasn't had a chance to watch them yet, and I don't know if Jim has ever seen. I don't know if he's seen both of them or not. So, and I have not had Levi watch them, because I think they'll probably be like nightmare fuel. So, but yeah. So I was just kind of curious, and we're here, so here we are. So, probably also going to try to do some like top 5, top 10 kind of videos. I might play around with the fact that now the YouTube Shorts can be 3 minutes long. So, because I already have one recorded for my top 10 zombie movies. But if I do that, I'm going to make a longer video where I explain why each one is where it is on the list. So, but that's a concept. We got to see where that goes. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot in channel news. Well, I've been posting other videos where I've been trying to like kind of just go on some topics. And part of the reason for that, and this is very self-centered, so I'm just going to throw it out here, is because those kinds of videos, at least on other channels, seem to be things that draw people in. You know, give them something to actually discuss. And I've gotten, some success with these. Like like where I talked about, what if Lego, if Lego saw the disaster that was the Acolyte coming and intentionally didn't make sets for that reason, that got a lot of comments. So that helps. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like talking about those things. It's a little bit more conversational than me talking about movies. Because, that's me explaining the plot, going over some facts that some people don't know, and things like that. It lets you guys know what I like to watch. And also the added bonus of building the back catalog so that I can be like, hey, I already did a video on this movie, so if you want to know about it, go watch it here. It really comes in handy. So I've done some videos like that, and there will definitely be more. And if we can ever get everyone together, there'll be more in that format because I do want it to be a discussion on some things. So anyway, so there's what some of the other videos have been coming from lately. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Well, probably not. Gotta depend on timing here. Today, at least first up, we're going to be talking about Lego space. And I mean like outer space, not like the physical space Lego takes up, just to be clear. Although that's a topic in its own right. The fact that, it can take up a lot. But, yeah, so basically Chad and I are going to discuss, similar to the video I did as far as if they were to bring back Lego Castle, this is our what if of what if they were to bring back Lego Space. Like, what if this year, this is 2024 as we're recording this, what if this whole experiment with having space show up in other parts of the line just like is wildly successful, and Lego's like, hey, we need to remake our space theme now. What's that going to look like? And, this is obviously like what do we want it to look like? A couple, with a little bit of what we would realistically expect. So anyway, so I have a series of questions that I think will kind of shape the discussion here, hopefully. And text them to Chad because we're using my phone to record here.
Before we get to those questions, I have to ask.
Okay.
When you refer to Lego Space,
yeah,
hopefully most of us know there are several factions like Mtron, Ice Planet, Sectoids.
Yeah.
Are you including Rock Raiders in
that? I don't know. That's a tough call. Like, from what you've told me, I should, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think at the time it supplanted a space theme. So, I guess for the purposes of our questions, it's up to you if you want to for your answers. But if it were to do that, I think Rock Raiders would have to be reconfigured so that the average person understands that it's part of space.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I had no idea until you told me, 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
I just thought it was guys drilling underground. Which, I mean, it is, but, I thought it was, on Earth.
Spaceship, warp issue, come to a planet they find energy on, go to mine it, encounter the rock creatures.
That's almost the plot to Beast Wars.
It is. Except for the mining part.
Well, I just meant the whole, crash landing, space, energy. Except you find out in Season 2 that it was all intentional and all Megatron's plot, and they're, in fact, in ancient Earth in the past. Megatron plans on winning the Cybertronian War before it ever starts. That's why he's a genius.
Yep.
But,
yeah. But he fell into the Skynet fallacy. To get to that point, the past had to have happened. In some form or another.
No, there's an episode where they prove they could change things.
Oh.
Because he has the historical records, and he literally finds a picture of a mountain, and he tells, I think it's Scorponok, destroy that mountaintop, and they do, and the picture changes.
Oh.
So, that was how he knew he could change the past. So, it's just that it was going to cause ripples, obviously, once he did. I don't know if he would still even exist, because if the Decepticons win the war, then I don't know if they would have downsized their bodies.
No.
So, or the ones like Ravage didn't have to because he was already tiny.
Yeah.
Because, cassette. Yeah, whenever he transforms there, it's the only time in Beast Wars you hear the old transforming sound. Because he is an old transformer, not one of the new ones. Yeah. Because originally he goes back to stop Megatron. And because the Tri-Predicus Council sends him back there. And they're not descended from the Decepticons. So winning isn't going to help them at all. But he shows up and Megatron tells him the plan. And he's like, yeah, I'm on your side now. What do I need to do?
All right, so back on topic.
Yes.
Lego Space.
Lego Space. Okay. So, let me see the questions there, Chad.
All right. So,
because they might not work best in the order I sent them to you here. Okay. So, I guess I guess we should probably actually start with yeah, let's start with the last question here. Now, this is, to be clear, this is what we would want to see. And towards the end, we're going to talk about what we think would actually work versus what we'd want to see, because those are not the same question. Okay? So, would you want to see all new sets or like modern updates of old sets?
So this is an either or, not a hey, I want to see a little bit of both.
Right? It's an open-ended question.
I would prefer to see both.
Okay.
I would like to see updated older sets, like the more popular ones, where they are updated with the newer pieces, with the newer build style and all that. I don't really think when they came out was Technic integrated into the Lego system.
I mean, I had a Futuron set that had like an elevator kind of thing in the middle,
Yeah.
and it was definitely like a Technic stuff that made it
Okay.
happen. So,
But yeah, it's mainly with the new pieces they've done. I would want to see those updated. But I think to make it be a successful line, once more, they cannot just stick with rehashing the old. They'd have to make new sets to go with it.
okay. So, I guess in that case, would you think that it would be best if the rehash sets were like Lego exclusive and the new sets were the ones on the store shelves at retail, widespread?
Probably would be best to do it that way.
Okay.
Have the rehashes set either to be the Lego exclusives to where they are Lego website and Lego stores only.
Okay. And maybe if Walmart or Target wanted them,
Yeah,
because they do sell some of the high end sets.
If
now.
Walmart or Target wanted them, like they could work out a exclusive thing like they do sometimes.
All right. So, okay, kind of tying into the top question, obviously, are there any sets in particular you would like to see, like, remade, essentially?
Well, I would think the month they do it, take one of the smaller sets from like Futron or Ice Planet and have that be their free set for the month if you order X amount.
Okay, so like saying hypothetically they brought back Ice Planet,
Yeah.
then take probably not the set that was the $10 sled, maybe it was the $20 the truck with the rocket on the back,
Maybe.
Minus the magnets presumably.
Yeah. Just make that like, hey, spend $99, get a free set.
Yeah.
And make that the free set.
Okay. Makes sense. So
then
I'm largely in agreement with that's the approach that would make sense. Because I would I would want to see expansion, but there are some sets that I'd want to see remade, and updated, I suppose. I mean, there's some that I'm just like, well, I mean, the original is probably nearly perfect, um, but more of them I think I'd want to see updated, and some be more like a spiritual successor.
yeah, because some of them you're not going to be able to update that well anymore, like any of the ones that had the molded base plates.
Yeah,
They don't exactly do those anymore.
yeah. Apparently, those in particular, like we're just never going to see those again. The moon surface ones,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and apparently a lot of the current existing ones are like falling apart. So that kind of sucks.
Rock Raiders had one. Uh, pretty sure if you want to broaden it, tiny bit. AquaZone had it. I know there was one or two for space itself.
Well, the one that was used a lot in Castle and Pirates, the one that's got the ramp up to the hill and it has like the pit there.
It's the curved ramp, right?
Well, it's a what is it, 32 by 32? Is that the base
I
plate
think
size?
that's it.
It's where the ramp is on. If you're, it's on like it's on the left hand
side.
It comes up and
Goes,
flattens out.
yeah.
That one was also used in space. I want to say either Blacktron or Blacktron 2 used that. And, it's possible the Ice Planet base used it. I thought it had a shaped base plate also. But, and then of course they had around the time they released Blacktron 2, they also had the redone road plates that were like space roads, essentially.
Yeah.
I've got some of those somewhere.
Mm.
I'd like to see those make a comeback.
So would I.
But, yeah, I mean, some of the bases, I think I'd prefer a spiritual successor.
Yep.
Because I don't want to see a one-to-one remake because, well, while I can appreciate what they tried to do in the 80s and 90s, I'd rather see a better looking base because a lot of them are like, oh, here's like some random transparent big plates, but like it's not actually sealed.
Nope.
So like, you're out in space. Why isn't it enclosed? And you've just got just gaping chasms here everywhere, and they've got like functions on them, but like, what is actually happening at this base?
Here's a question that's not on your list on that.
Okay.
Would you want them to treat the bases like they do the really big buildings? If they would do road plates with them again.
Oh, you mean like the modulars for city?
Set it up modular to where like you can link in road tiles with it and be able to make a road base to base. It'd take a lot of room, but
yeah, you could, but I think if you're going to do that, it would have to be factionless.
Yeah,
it would have to be like classic space or something, and it'd be like parts of a base.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd have the money to go for it, but
you'd find the money to go for
it. Chad, it's funny you should mention that. Very briefly, right now it's double points to ending today, so by the time this video's up, they'll be over. And I think I'm gonna like buy the Christmas set from 2 years ago because I still need it. It's a street with a streetcar and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely a like pay in four from PayPal kind of purchase right there because I don't have the money to buy it all at once right now. But I think I'm going to. But there's something else that if we get past Lego, I'm going to mention that just remind me. It's a Marvel Legends thing because I found out something that's going to potentially be disastrous.
They lost the license.
No. See, they are minor diversion here, folks. They are, I think, stopping their version of Kickstarter. What was it called that Hasbro did?
Hasbro Pulse? No.
It's
HasLab.
HasLab. I think they're not going to do that anymore because they just had this thing where you could buy a Dragon Man figure. It's like $85. It's got like a huge wingspan and everything. It was a pre-order instead of the HasLab, and it was just open for like a month and a half. Well, they don't charge you until they ship it. So, the day after that ended at the New York Comic Con, they unveiled the next one. The 22-inch tall Sentinel in the X-Men 97 animated series style. Fully articulated, like blast effects and everything.
I'm sorry for your wallet.
And it's like $175 or $179 or something, which puts it at half the price as the HasLab Sentinel. But the HasLab Sentinel came with a bunch of other things, and it's even bigger. So, it's not going to ship for like a year. It's an awful long time to put aside some money. That could be a very dangerous purchase right there.
It could, Bobbie. It could.
Like a year from now, I'll go back, why did I buy 4 of these? Like, I don't have the room for them. Why did I do this? I don't have the money for them. Why did I do this?
Because you're planning to have the room for them by then?
I don't have the room for the HasLab one. It's still in the box, which is actually much larger than the figure itself. So I guess I do have the room. But yeah, the plan is that one's, thanks to all the extra heads that one came with, that one's going to be master mold now. So yeah.
You just need a throne for it.
Yeah, I need to look into that. Some people 3D printed them, so if I can find the files, I'll find someone who's got a 3D printer and print one. Is your 3D printer up and running yet?
No. Also
Okay.
wouldn't be the one you want for that.
All right. Does Luke have a 3D printer?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
All right. My friend Ryan does. I'll ask him. Anyway, it's all side diversion nonsense. But yeah, Lego thankfully does not do that, or I would owe them money from now to like the day I die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'd be one of those like, even if I found out I was like an immortal from Highlander, that would probably actually just make the problem worse.
It would.
It'd eventually just become like, I can just buy some shares in your company. But yeah, so anyway, existential financial problems aside, yeah, I would. That would be cool because I've argued that's the way they should have gone with Castle, was to make parts of a castle. You know, make the gatehouse, make the keep, and things like that, and then of course the set that will sell a bajillion copies, the wall sections, where people are like, well, I'm just going to turn my dining room table into a Lego castle.
Just make that be like, what, an 8 by 20
It's something.
stud set of nothing but like light gray and dark gray bricks.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd have a couple variations. You'd have like just a straight wall. You'd have one that has like a tower in the center. You'd have like corner tower pieces. You'd have ones that have hinges in case you want an irregular shaped castle, and or you just send the extra parts to make a straight one hinge because you'd really only had to change a handful of bricks on it to make it happen. And yeah, that's what you would do, and that would be the set that you just have to keep that in stock for like 5 years because that's what's going to sell thousands of copies, well, millions of copies. Because you're only going to need the one gatehouse probably. You're only going to need the one keep. Have different keeps or something.
Yeah,
like an armory and some updated version of the village inn, things like that.
and you can always make tower sets that can plug into it that can act as a corner too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically just look at how Dwarven Forge does their castle stuff, and then just, Lego. Then you got it. But I don't think Lego would ever go for that, because they tried that with the trains. A lot of people don't know this, by the way. They had, like, customizable trains. There were 5 different colors you could choose from, and they were the individual cars is what you bought. And I don't think it sold very well, but I do know all those are worth ridiculous amounts of money right now if you still have them sealed. But yeah, but that's the way it is with all Lego sets. Which is why whenever I see people like, oh, the scalpers aren't making any money off this stuff, I'm like, you fools. Yes, we are. Not that I consider myself a scalper on the Lego front, but that's a whole other discussion we've already had. But yeah, Lego, it's easy to make money on Lego as long as you can have some place to store it. You literally just let it sit around for a while. It will raise in value. That's what it does.
10, 15 years.
Well, I have yet to lose money on any Lego sale. And most of them I've sold at least twice what I paid for them. One of them at, what was it? 5,000 times what I paid for it. Something like that. Something ridiculous. I paid a penny for it. Got like $25 for it. So that's, yeah, pretty absurd. But on a percentage scale, like,
Pretty absurd.
Can't be beat. So yeah, I largely agree with Chad that it would have to be like a mix, and Obviously, by my questions, you can probably figure out that yes, I think that the rehashes would probably be better served to be sold through Lego, and not because as much as I love the old stuff, and I'm sure Chad does too. That's why I'm talking about it. Like, I don't know that modern kids would.
No. Some of those sets, if you look at them, the old sets, they are literally a product of their era.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, even in the video where I was talking about castle stuff, I would say if you're going to reintroduce it, play it safe with the lions and like the Black Falcons, but you're going to have to very quickly begin introducing new factions, and then sprinkle the old factions in as you go along.
You're you were forgetting a key one for the Castle franchise.
Hold on, the Double Axe guys, whose name I never learned.
No,
The guys in the Yellow Castle.
no, the Forest Men.
Okay, I mentioned them in the video. Don't worry.
You gotta make sure to have your Robin Hood analog.
I know. I mentioned them. I mentioned the Wolfpack guys too.
We don't care about those.
No, someone hasn't looked at the latest round of Bricklink exclusive sets that they're voting on right now. Like, there is a new Wolfpack guy who's in like the Village set they released a few months ago. Yeah, a lot of people like took that and ran with it. There are all kinds of like Wolfpack themed castles and sets.
Oh wow!
So like, and the torso is perpetually sold out on Pick a Brick. So yeah, I think we're supposed to be getting one in the next collectible series though. Is a Wolfpack something or another. So yeah, so no, Wolfpack's popular.
So back to space.
Yeah, back to space, not in the past.
What would be your favorite faction?
Oh, mine. Yeah, that is kind of a toss-up because I like the Blacktron faction, and I'm really torn between Blacktron 1 and 2 on that. To be totally honest, despite the fact they are like polar opposites, because like Owen and I were kind of talking a little bit about this in the episode we recorded here recently. How like Blacktron 1 is like all black outfits, and their sets are mostly black with like yellow highlights and some transparent reds here and there.
Yeah.
Blacktron 2 were white outfits with a neon green B on the chest and like transparent neon green highlights. Their sets were like white, predominantly white with black in them. No, I think the sets were actually predominantly black with white highlights. But the problem is I like the aesthetic of both of them. So it's hard to pick. And Owen gave me the idea of maybe there was like a Blacktron Civil War at some point, and so there are actually two Blacktron, because Lego can't decide either.
Yeah.
Because Lego made a remake of one of their real small ships as a gift with purchase, but it's the Blacktron 1. Then this was like within the last year and a half. And then the Space collectible figures that came out a few months ago have a Blacktron 2 guy in there. Where like he's got like a mutated, like one of his sides has like two arms and like a mutant leg and everything. And in like Space Police 3, I think there were some old Blacktron guys, or at least guys with the old Blacktron symbol. So I don't know. It's hard to say there. And if it's not them, it's probably Mtron.
Might I throw out an alternate?
No, I know what yours is.
What?
Yours?
No, an alternate thought on the Blacktron thing.
Okay.
What if it's not a civil war, but literally like two sub-factions of the same faction, pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Like you have police and firefighters.
Yeah. What are you saying there?
Well, you'd have like your Blacktron was portrayed more as the villains, right?
Well, yes, but I think that came about once Space Police came in. Because I think, I had to double check, but I think it was Futuron, Blacktron, then Space Police.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't actually know the Blacktrons were the villains until the Space Police showed up and were arresting them. And then like Blacktron 2 is depicted as stealing stuff from the Mtron guys. So I don't know.
Or what if it's different specialties?
It could be, and like I said, it could just be like two different like branches of the same gang or something.
Yeah.
If they are space criminals. So I don't know. I like them. It's probably a toss up between them with maybe Mtron as the dark horse of maybe if I split the vote on those two, Mtron wins. He'd be my favorite faction. But the definite runner up and all that is Ice Planet, just because it's just so different from the others. You know.
Mine is a tie between two of them. If we're including Rock Raiders.
So what? Ice Planet and Rock Raiders?
Yes. Rock Raiders is what I had when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I liked the sets. Ice Planet, I just find Ice Planet cool.
Well, yeah, it's made of ice. Oh, Chad, the moment you said that, I was like, here it comes. He's getting it now.
But, like, the translucent orange pieces against the blue and the white outfits.
Yeah. Yeah, the colors work. Everyone got a chainsaw.
Yeah. Everybody. And it was translucent orange.
They had the specialized visors instead of just the flat. They had like the built-in visor?
Yeah.
With an antenna.
Yep.
They also were the first ones that had not just the yellow smiley faces. They had a woman, an old man, and a younger guy.
Yep.
And so there was character there.
They all had backpack, oxygen tanks.
Yeah.
They all had snowshoes. Like, they were the one. If you take Rock Raiders out of the equation, they are my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I love the aesthetic of classic space.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't consider that a faction. No. I consider that like a precursor. Like somehow like we had NASA, then we had like this era of classic space for a while, and then like this is in like my hypothetical timeline here, and then Futuron is like the start of the factions. Futuron's like the spiritual successor to classic space, where they're just explorers out doing their thing, and then everyone else is just there. Like Space Police is enforcing the law. Blacktron is apparently breaking the law. Mtron's after magnet stuff. Ice Planet guys are going to frozen planets and doing their thing. So because I kind of consider the current space series almost like a spiritual successor to Futuron, because they're color coded guys, and they seem to be focused on exploration. There are aliens, but they're clearly not in conflict with them. So, it's not like the last set before them. No, because the couple city space sets before them were basically just NASA, like about 20 years from now.
Yep.
Assuming we keep moving technologically, and but the ones before them, who was it? What was where they're fighting the bugs? What was that sub theme called? Do you remember?
The one where they were on Mars?
No, they're not on Mars. Like the bad guy sets are like giant bugs, and then like their minifigures are riding them and stuff.
Oh, and Galaxy Squad.
Yeah, that's them. Because they were kind of similar, because they're all color coded also. It's just they're like the military branch, because they were very clearly fighting the bugs. Because remember, folks, the only good bug is a dead bug. Service guarantees citizenship. There was actually a company that made like parts that went in line with them, and one of them was like a captain's hat with the symbol and everything. And I think I have a few of those. So they could be Doogie Howser. And then before them was Alien Conquest, where it's aliens invading the Earth.
Yep.
And that, I don't think it was part of City. It was its own thing, but it was. But like, it clearly takes place in the same era as City. But yeah, that was back. Those were like the space series where they were clearly going for like the aggressor, like the two opposing factions. Like you'd have a castle a lot, and I don't mind seeing that because I do like the factions. And it's okay if it's fine if there's flavor where like they're fighting each other. But I do like a good hey, let's all come together and explore space theme. There,
I was pulling up Mars mission.
Mars mission. Where they were trying to like capture the Martians in tubes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now obviously that means that our favorite factions kind of capped off somewhere because neither of us have even mentioned. Well, you mentioned insectoids, I think, once. So
Yeah. My brother had a few of those.
like no one's mentioned Roboforce or Spirius. I think it's pronounced Spirius. There's the Mars mission, and I think that there's another one in there that was kind of like Futuron, but I can't think of what it's called. But no, I tell you what, I would really like to see. That I don't know if they could do it at this point, but Futuron had a Futuron had a monorail, and those things are worth ludicrous amounts of money now.
You have
Not that.
Unitron.
That's it.
Who?
Yeah, Unitron is. I always felt it was kind of like the update to Futuron.
Yeah.
But no, I'd like to see a new version of the monorail. I know they can't use the old parts because they don't make them anymore, and I'm sure the molds have long since been buried in the foundations of buildings. That's what Lego does with their molds
Oh, probably.
to make sure that no one can copy them. So it'd have to be. I don't know if you could do it with the current tracks for the trains because they can't do. I don't think they can do elevation. Is the problem? They can't do ramps, which that's part of the deal with the monorail is that it can do that. And of course, if they did that, then just like the old monorail system, they could then import it into city because the old monorail system they also used to make an airport monorail at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see something like that. That would be nice. Again, I don't know if I can ever afford it. I definitely don't have a place to put it. I've got 2 trains and I can't set them up.
Why did Space make a sub theme that was literally UFO?
Well, I mean, you have flying saucers, Chad. Sometimes you don't know where they're from. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that one. They came up with some wacky.
This site lists Rock Raiders as Space.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we had some wacky things in the 90s.
Galaxy Squad's on here.
Yeah, should be.
Alien Conquest, Space Police 3.
I think I have all of Galaxy Squad and Alien Conquest. I even have one of these stupidly hard to find poly bags from Alien Conquest. Oh, that does remind me. Part of the thing that prompted all this discussion is that they've already shown some of the poly bags for next year for 2025, and one of them is a space poly bag, continuing the current aesthetic. So I don't know if that means we're going to get new, bigger sets, or if it's just a final. Hey, these things did good, so let's make a few little things here. But to see, but I hope it's the whole hey, this actually did well, so we're going to continue with it because the big base that they have for the current set has an expansion to it. It's a Target exclusive set, but it does exist, and it'd be easy to make more because it's built with that in mind to add more to it. So it'd be nice if this continued, the current one, and we got other add-ons to the base. So, because the base is one of the only 3 sets I don't have from the current theme.
Go for it.
I don't have the 2 cars either. I have the add-on to the base. I just don't have the base itself yet. Sorry, Chad. I saw it on sale at Target, so I bought it. I haven't seen the base on sale anywhere yet. I got the orbital ring thing that was like $110. Got it for like $45 on clearance.
There you go.
And as near as I can tell, the only reason it went on clearance is because they reset the Lego aisle, and someone realized that to reset it to where it wasn't going to fit on the shelf. There wasn't enough room. So I think all the Walmart's clearanced them. Yeah. Then I found the like the 4+ set, the junior one. Found some of those for $5 because they had apparently like been hidden in a crack in the wall in the back or something. Then someone finally found them and put them out on the sales floor. Remind me to tell you about something that I saw once we're done filming here. Okay, so now we've established what our favorite factions are. Was that the same answer if I were to ask you what faction would you want to see revived?
Yes.
Or actually, let me make this a 2-part question. Is that the same faction you want to see revived, and is that the same faction that you feel would be best to be used to try to revive the line?
Okay.
If you were going to use an older faction.
Rock Raiders is not the faction to use to revive the line. I will put that out there.
Okay.
Because here's the issue. You had an incredibly similar theme, Power Miners.
Yeah.
That lasted for not very long. It had a run of sets, and then it did not get any more sets.
Power Miners had more than one run.
It did?
Yeah. I think it lasted longer than Rock Raiders.
Yeah, because Rock Raiders was like...
It was a one and done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Power Miners had, I think 3, but it might have just been 2, because there's definitely like second iterations of some of the things in it.
Yeah.
So,
but you had them, they're not around anymore, they didn't pick up that well.
Well, as a counterpoint, I believe after that, City did make mining sets.
Yes.
So, like, the concept seems to, like, Lego seems to think there's something there. They just haven't figured out how to crack the shell yet.
Which is why they need to give it more time.
Yeah.
Ice Planet, I think it would be a good place to start.
Okay.
Ice Planet is popular.
Yeah, like, it's the only one I see crazy artwork from.
Yeah.
And we did get an Ice Planet figure in the collectible figure set, so Lego seems to think it's popular. Plus, it came with a robotic penguin, which was...
amazing.
Yes.
Blacktron would be good to do.
Which one?
Yes. Here's how you do it.
Do both at the same time?
I was going to say release a set that includes both colorations on the minifigs.
Yeah.
Make one coloration like an officer or something.
Yeah.
Space Police should probably be okay to go with because police sets are always popular.
But would you go with that first is the question. Because who are they arresting becomes, in my opinion, that becomes the problem.
Blacktron, of course.
What? Okay. Although, I'm not going to lie, Owen cracked up when I told him that the Blacktrons were the villains. Because, obviously, in the current day, the Blacktrons being who the police go after, even out in space, like, I could see some people taking issue with that. Also with the whole, like, oh, they're Blacktrons, why are they white? You know.
I would personally...
Those people need to get a life, though.
Start with Ice Planet and Futuron. And Blacktron. I think those would be the best options.
All right. Fair enough. See, I'm stuck because I think from an aesthetic standpoint, I think M-Tron would go over well. The red and black, you know. The big problem is you can't include the magnets anymore because of the safety hazard.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're going to have to come up with a new reason for why they're called M-Tron. Or if you're just going to stick with just the legacy name, I guess. Because, there's an M-Tron figure in the collectible series, too. So Lego clearly knows that, that at least adults want them. By the way, if you haven't figured this out, I have multiples of the M-Tron figure, the Ice Planet figure, not the Blacktron figure. He's too unique. He's got the two arms.
He's got to be a one-off, right?
Yeah, he's a one-off. But yeah, I have multiples of those guys. Yeah, I like from aesthetics, I think M-Tron would be the way to go. But again, I don't know if you literally just gloss it, just ignore the fact that the name's meaningless and just go with it and have kids be like, why is it called M-Tron? Like, I don't know, son, it just is. And just give them like a leader like Magnus von Magnuson or something, the Space Emperor, and be like, it's named after that guy. But no, them plus they had the big tank thing that they had, like a reimagining of that, I think would go over well. Then
oh yeah, that would probably go over well.
I think it's the Magnacore Magnetizer or something like that, if I remember right. I like that. Like from an aesthetic standpoint, I really like it. Futuron, obviously, because I think the current sets could easily just be rebranded as Futuron 2.0, and you'd make them just a little bit more fantastical because Futuron is a little, obviously in the future, hence the name.
The Megacore Magnetizer.
Yeah, that's it. Then, well, yeah, I'd have to agree on Ice Planet. It's a good aesthetic. I'm trying to remember from the sets. You would need a redo of the base. Could be good. You would need, if you were going to provide a story, which that's one other thing I argue that they should at least put an insert in some of these, so there's at least something to go off of. And I know sometimes they don't want to do that because of that one used the base plate for sure.
Yeah. The Ice Station Odyssey.
Yeah.
The rehash of the Deep Freeze Defender, their big O.
I have that.
Yeah.
The original, but yeah, try kind of upgrading that using better building techniques now. Then
I would say the Celestial Sled. The one that had the one figure, it's like pretty much a vehicle on skis.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you could make an updated version of the smallest set as a poly bag.
The Snow Scooter.
Oh no, sorry, not that one. This the one I'm talking about. It's on wheels.
You are talking about the Ice Tunnelator.
Yeah, like an updated version of that could be a good poly bag set.
The updated Snow Scooter.
Well, it could also be a poly bag set. Now this is a personal opinion. I mentioned this in the castle sets. I actually would rather them be boxed sets on the shelves because, the only problem I have with the poly bags is it's okay, well, they exist. When and where exactly are we going to be able to get them?
Yeah.
Because, the current one for space, I almost bought, 9 months ago. I was going to buy some because someone in the U.S. had them. Because at that point, they'd only been available overseas. They were available for pre-order on Target's website, and then I don't even know if they've shipped yet. And then they showed up in the 3-in-1 box set, but it's the only 3-in-1 I've ever seen where the cost of the 3-in-1 set was within $3 of the retail cost of the included sets. because the included sets go for they should go for like $35.
Yeah.
And the 3-in-1 set was like $32. And it's kind of like, well, no, wait a minute. I've seen your other 3-in-1 sets. Like Walmart right now has two different sizes of 3-in-1 sets: $20 ones and $50 ones. There's a $20 one that has a $20 Minecraft set in it, another Minecraft set that I'm pretty sure is another $20 Minecraft set, and a $5 poly bag. So it's a $45 retail for $20. Clearly, it's a good deal. Then the $50 ones, and there's another one with like 3 creator sets, where I feel the only thing they really let everyone down on is all 3 of those creator sets are all 3-in-1 sets. Whereas like some exclusive directions to use all the parts from all 3 of them to make something.
Yeah.
That was kind of a letdown. And for whatever it's worth, there's actually a precedent for that. For Mtron, actually.
Really?
Way back when, there were 3 Mtron sets you could buy, and then you could order from Lego a set of directions to use the parts from the 3 of them to make a different set. And I know that's how mine are configured because I had the 3 sets and did that. But yeah, so then we have like the $50 ones where one has, I think it's Obi-Wan's Jedi Fighter, Yoda's Jedi Fighter, and the 501st Clone Trooper Battle Pack. And if I remember right, at retail, you're looking at about $80, give or take.
Yeah.
And it's $50 for the box set. So then they had the space one. It's like, oh, I'm saving $3 versus like 50% or more on these others. Or like 100% or more. So, yeah. I ended up just, once they finally showed up at Walmart for $5, I think I have 10 of them now. That's an exaggeration. I think I have 5 of them. I've only put one together. I think with a little bit of practice, I can actually put one together without having to speed up the frame rate and make a short out of it. Like, I think I could have done that with the 1 minute long shorts, actually, because there's not a lot to the set. But, yeah, I think Ice Planet might be the way to go. Or if not, that would be like the second one. Like, I'm just saying you might want to take a more general, like, Futuron or something.
Yeah, the thing with the Ice Planet one is also they were portrayed as rescuers, as they're the ones that go out and dig people out of the snow and the ice when they land on a frozen planet.
I think that would have to be reworked just a little bit to focus more on like the crystal stuff, because that seems to sell in lines.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in multiple lines where it's like, oh, we're after these crystals for reasons. And everyone's like, okay, so we're getting a lot of crystal pieces with these. All right, that's fine.
Yep.
I mean, the current space series are after the purple crystals. They use them as batteries. Well, they do. I mean, all the sets come with like drones and little droids made out of a bunch of little parts and everything. So, and that would be something I'd want to see integrated into the sets going forward. Little things like that, to fill them out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we go out into space, we're going to be doing things like that for sure. We already do that right now.
Yep.
So, also more Robo Penguins. I want to see a Robo Polar Bear if they bring back like full bore Ice Planet. So,
Robo Bear.
Yeah. Kind of like, did you really look at the pictures I sent you for the G.I. Joe stuff?
Yes.
So you saw the radioactive Snake Eyes comes with the big polar bear to fight, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's going to be great. I don't need another Snake Eyes because I have one with a wolf, and I have like the stupidly expensive one that was like figure 01 or whatever.
Yeah, but you need a bear.
I do need a polar bear to fight him and radioactive Snake Eyes. Hopefully we'll get the blind guy that helps him.
Hopefully. Complete with dog sled?
Yes, complete with the dog sled. Because someone mentioned, like, hey, didn't like Super 7 already make this? And everyone's like, yeah, they did, but, here we go. And they're like, well, if we're opening up this stuff, so let me make sure we're done with space before we go down that
faction
tangent.
you think is unlikely to be brought back?
Okay. Well, I think insectoids is really far down on the list. I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think it's like impossible, but I think it's down on the list.
Why is that?
Uh well, all the other attempts at like bringing it back have mainly had humans. That was like the big like non-human. And the last one that had bugs, like the humans were fighting them.
Yeah.
So I think they're more likely to appear that way. Plus, if everything stays mostly human, it's in less competition with Star Wars. Because Star Wars has all the aliens.
Yeah. I was going to say, what was it? Life on Mars and Mars Mission. Because they are too similar to other stuff as it is.
Yeah.
And if they made those came with like the B1 battle droid style bodies and limbs and legs.
Yeah.
For the aliens. And any vehicles made for those aliens would then just be locked into that style body, limiting the ability to just plug in any minifig you have for it.
Yeah. Plus,
Because that's part of the issue with Star Wars. Because you see other people piloting the staff that the Separatists use, but all of that's built for the battle droids, so you can't use minifigs with them.
yeah. Yeah. Also, it's possible that just the topic of Mars is not fantastical enough.
Not anymore.
That might remain with like a NASA sub theme from like City. You know, I could see them doing that. I don't know which space police they would bring back. There's 3 of them to choose from. I think the third one's the unlikely one because they're just kind of generic gray.
Yeah.
Whereas the other 2, like Space Police 1, like that's some snazzy stuff there. The blue and the black with the red highlights, the dark red canopies and stuff. And then Space Police 2, it's a little duller in coloration, but it has the dark green glass pieces. And so, yeah, I mean, if I were going to bring back Space Police, I'd build it around Space Police 1. But that's just me. Yeah, I don't think they would bring back the UFO guys.
What? Why not?
Well, because it's kind of like what it's kind of like what you were getting at is like, why does space have a UFO? Like everything in here would be a UFO, or none of it would be. One of the two. I have that set.
The Solar Snooper.
I do not have that set.
Galactic Mediator. I think Space Police 1, style wise, like coloration and all, but like pulling some of the sets from Space Police 2.
Yeah, and that's always a possibility too. Like with those and with Blacktron, there might be sets that look better in the other coloration, so we might see that. Like a rehash. Now, I will give Space Police 3 credit for actually having alien figures in the line.
Like Squid, Wrench.
Is the Space Pimp in there?
He'll
be wearing a purple outfit. There he is.
Brick Daddy.
Yes. That guy is very clearly a Space Pimp.
And then they have a Space Police statue.
Yep.
And a Butler bot. Well, they had the K9 unit.
Yeah. No.
That would definitely need to be any Space Police revitalization.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I would think a lot of the rest of it's fair game. Like, I would think like Spyrius would be very far down the list because I mean, like aesthetic wise, it's all right, but there's like nothing that really defines it. You know, like I like the torsos for the guys and everything,
Yeah.
but like I don't know what their deal is. You know, I don't know what they as a faction are actually doing. So I would think they'd be down on the list. Um, what was the other one? Not Futuron, but the other
Explorians?
Explorians. I think they would just probably just be folded into Futuron, probably, if they were going to try to bring them back.
I'd say do that because like their sets look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it just. But you also have the Unitron. I think those would be folded in as well. Although they did have that snazzy gray, black, and yellow to them.
I like the torso designs on all these guys. And that's something else they could easily do is, you know, make a set or two that are kind of like a spaceport or something and have just a bunch of randos with, you know, redesigns of the older torsos and stuff. So that, like, we know that they're there, they just haven't gotten around to making sets for them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Although I suppose that does bring up one other possibility.
I think the Spyrius was supposed to be.
Well, I'm assuming from the name that's probably accurate. But I suppose the other possibility is, what if they don't explicitly just have one singular theme?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like with City. Like whenever they release new police sets, the entire wave of that part of the year isn't just police sets. You know, there's also fireman sets. There's also whatever the food truck is going to be, and you know,
Or so you're saying they do a space theme,
space theme, but
like here's an Mtron set, here's a Futron set, here's a Blacktron set.
Yeah, I mean,
here's a space planet set.
Yeah, probably not that spread out. Probably limited like to two groups. You know, with like
this is an example.
Yeah. Maybe something like that. It's not focused, but just like we're gonna do space, and we're gonna do like a greatest hits, but updated kind of thing. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that would work. I think you'd have to get a little bit into the line being around again for that to work.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise, because I don't want it to be like Alien Conquest, where it's just a straight up, okay, well, clearly you have this side and this side. You know, I prefer just a little bit of ambiguity in things, which will lose the moment Space Police show up because they're going to be arresting somebody. Probably the Blacktron.
I was going to say Futrons.
Yeah, so that's my probably a lot more than 2 cents on all this.
Yeah.
So, want to briefly discuss some of the G.I. Joe stuff we saw?
Sure.
All right. So we know for sure we're getting Footloose. We saw his figure. We know for sure that we're getting a carded version of Dr. Mindbender. So it won't just be the hard to find one. We're getting a carded version of the Cobra Viper, which looks really good. That'll definitely be if I can find them, I'm going to buy a lot of them. Even though I don't need them, because they're way too tall to really army build. There's going to be, what else did I send you? The radioactive snake eyes.
Yep.
The Cobra battle bunker, which kind of looks like you could buy a couple of them and put them together. And that comes with the urban camouflage redeco of the Alley Viper.
Yeah.
Which I really wish was just separate. But here we are. Then, I don't know if there were many more digital renders for the Joes. Like I said, we saw the thing with the carded figures. Oh, they mentioned a few names of figures they're going to make.
Oh?
Yes, including one that Like, I really thought we were going to get a little bit farther in the line before they dug into this, but
Globulus?
No. But I should have figured it out the moment they decided to make Raptor. Because he's like the second most silly Cobra character.
So they're making the most silly?
Yes.
Who is?
Crystal Ball.
Who?
Crystal Ball. The seventh son of a seventh son. Comes from a long line of gypsy hypnotists. His file card was the only one not written by Larry Hama. This one was written by Stephen King.
Really, they got a hold of Stephen King and was like, hey, you want to write this for us?
Well, apparently it was part of a deal. They based another character off of his son in exchange. And
which character did they base off of the son?
I think Sneak Peek.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, but yeah, whereas with Stephen King, depending on which part of his career would have been, the Headman would have been a more accurate version of him.
Maybe.
Big fan of the old nose candy, from what I understand. But you can kind of see it if you watch Maximum Overdrive. He directed that one. But yeah, there's a couple other carded figures they mentioned. So now I'm really torn since they keep making the carded versions. Like, I don't know if I should buy the classified version or the carded version because with some the classified versions have the better accessories, and then with others like Beachhead, the carded one definitely has the better accessories.
Bobbie.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes with the polar bear has a bear trap.
Yeah. Gotta fight the polar bear somehow. His radioactive ninja hands won't be enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that in mind, we talked a little bit about this in the last episode, but like, what do you want to see still from the classified line?
What do I want to see still?
Yeah, just a few figures. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They're also going to make like firemen.
What?
Well, okay, so they had the 50th anniversary figures this year that were like generic soldier, marine.
Yeah, there's a fireman here.
So I think the prevailing theory is that they're going to start making them based off the older, like the tall G.I. Joe figures.
Okay.
Which had like generic search and rescue stuff. So we might get like a generic cop and things like that too.
I'm okay with that because it fleshes like the line out.
Yeah.
Okay. What do I still want to see? We don't have is it Lieutenant Stone yet? He wouldn't be bad.
Lieutenant Stone.
I think it's Lieutenant
Stone. Is he a Joe or a Cobra? Well, I should know the answer.
Joe. Like Brendan Fraser played him in the movie.
Oh. Is he even a real character?
He was in Sigma 6.
That's a no.
And Extreme.
That's a doubling down on no.
You sure you don't want him? Look at that! Look at that Extreme figure of him.
Yeah, that's a pass. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they make him as Brendan Fraser, he might be a purchase. Like,
I would take him as Brendan Fraser, sure, but they need to include one thing for him from Sigma 6. He had a cybernetic arm.
Okay, that's doable.
And an eye patch. Cool eye patch.
Well, he didn't have that in the movie,
though. No, he didn't. Plus, he was the pilot.
Wait a minute. Their pilot did not have depth perception?
Nope.
That strikes me as a bad thing, but maybe I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Are there any other characters?
That we haven't seen.
Well, either that we haven't seen, or like you have a preferred version that's not out yet. You know.
Well, the preferred version for Beachhead is out. The
Okay.
one where he has actual guns.
Yeah, I could understand preferring that one.
Uh,
Oh, there was also one other name. I'm gonna keep remembering. There was another name drop. Darklon.
really.
Yeah, they're doing the Iron Grenadiers. Of course, they're gonna make Darklon.
Not. There's not really many I want to see. Like, there's a lot I would take because if I had the money. But,
All right. Because I know for me, like for the Joes, one of the last major holes, like from cartoon nostalgia, is wetsuit, and because I think we've already confirmed we're getting Leatherneck.
Yeah.
So we've already got Quick Kick and Bazooka and Alpine's out right now, and Doc. And Dial Tone's coming. Mainframe, I don't think has been confirmed yet. So, but Wetsuit, Deep Six, then if we're going to make mass device sets, then that means we might see the generic Cobra Diver, not the eel, but the generic diver. Possibly the Baroness as a diver.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see some generic Joes as divers. Or we could get, I know for sure, I think if my memory is right on this, at least Duke and Dusty from the episode where Duke gets knocked into a coma, not from a Serpentor snake. And
It's sad you had to point that out.
And Dusty goes undercover inside of Cobra.
Yeah.
Because part of that episode is they're on like an oil platform or something. And like they were clearly like having like dive suits to get there. Plus just the irony of Dusty in a dive suit. You know, kind of like how he's probably also, I'm pretty sure he's there at the battle at the beginning of the G.I. Joe movie where they're up in the Himalayas.
He is.
Which, I mean, yes, super technically that is a desert, but like clearly they mean like the sandy type as far as his specialty.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys, I think those are the major ones from the original cartoon. Then for Cobra, I think we're only missing one of the Dreadnoks at this point. Well, one of the main Dreadnoks, Monkey Ranch, because Zartan, Zorana, the other three are already out. Road Pig is out. Naugahyde is out. Xandar is either out or about to be out. I think that just leaves Monkey Wrench and then what's his name that drives the Thunder Machine? Oh, and Zanzibar. I forgot about him. He's got an eye patch. Looks kind of like a pirate, actually, like with hair and everything.
How about for the Joes, we get Robo Joe?
Robo Joe, who even has a gun that looks like RoboCop's gun.
Yeah, and
Is he from Detroit? And then we send him out to space.
he is from Star Brigade.
Well, I would like to see the bat from that. The bat. It has two A's. Oh, and also for Cobra, Clay Moore that we mentioned last time.
He'd be great to get.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see Kamakura's dad, whose name totally escapes me at the moment, as a Crimson Guard. Because he was a Crimson Guard.
Do we have sci-fi yet?
No, we don't have sci-fi. We don't have who is it? Flash, and a couple
Effects.
and a couple other. Well, a couple other like the original cast we don't have still. But no, we don't have sci-fi. We don't have any of like the laser specialty troopers.
We need them.
And Cobra needs the laser vipers also. They'll be deluxe figures though, I'm sure, because they have a backpack that's got guns coming off of it. But as far as like Cobra, like the generic guys, definitely I'd like to see the Hydro Viper. And I think they could do things with the Toxo Viper as far as accessories.
Cobra ones we need is Cold Slither.
Yeah, I mean,
and all their glorious 80s metal hair.
Yeah, I think we do need like some episode specific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like Cold Slither,
the Endo Viper.
They need to wide release that version of Cobra Commander where he's half a Snake Man, so that the rest of us that wanted them could actually get a hold of them. And of course, the rest of the Cobra Law people finally give Pythona a real figure, give Big Lob a real figure. Let's see, because Law and Order is coming out.
Yeah,
because Big Law will be the only one we're missing at that point. Because we've got Tunnel Rat, we've got Chuckles, we'll have Law and Order, we have Beachhead as like their kind of pseudo leader.
We have Jinx.
We have Jinx. We have Falcon. We need Zorana as Falcon's date there. What? If they're going to keep making like, oh, the Baroness is a pilot. Oh, the Baroness is a diver. Oh, the Baroness on a motorcycle. Oh, the Baroness in a crimson outfit that she never wore anywhere. Then, yeah, I think we can deal with Zorana as Falcon's date with the car.
See, that...
So then they can make a HasLab of it for like $200 like they tried to do with Ghost Rider in the car. When everyone's like, I'm just going to buy this $50 Fast and Furious car that's the same scale and just put some flame effects on it.
That's what I want, is more of the vehicles.
Yeah, there was the company that made like all the stuff you could put on the Vamp and the Stinger.
Yeah.
They made that for the Cobra Treble Bubbles too, to turn them into like two-legged walker things. It's a shame I don't have the regular ones. I only have the Python Patrol one. Of course, one guy in the comments like, all right, I'm going to go bug the guy that makes these and make the Python Patrol one next. If they do, it's going to be a purchase. So my one Python Patrol Televiper can have like a walking thing. I really hope the Televipers...
Gridiron Studios, folks.
Yes.
That's the company.
I really hope the Televipers come out on the carded figures. So
That'd be nice.
So I don't have to buy a bunch of Trouble Bubbles to get the Televipers.
That's what you got to do.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to have to do that for the Python Patrol one. Because I don't think they'll make the Python Patrol versions on carded figures.
Yeah.
Well, they might. They did show up in the cartoon. So they might. Because I think the carded ones are mainly supposed to be like cartoon versions. Because they come with like the cartoon gun. The generic gun all the Joes had. And like the Cobra Soldier has the generic Cobra thing. So we'll see. Or they're supposed to be more accurate to the original figures on the card backs. So no, my Python Patrol collection is almost complete. I just need like 2 more soldiers and another Crimson Guard. So, like, the numbers even out. And 1 more Televiper. Which I guess means 1 more Trouble Bubble.
If you don't want to keep the Trouble Bubble from that, I'll take it.
No, Trouble Bubble's awesome. It's like the most ludicrous thing you could ever imagine. There's, like, no hope of survival in that thing.
Yet, Cobra Commander has survived getting shot down in one.
Cobra Commander survived riding on top of one in the intro to the movie, remember?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's whoever was piloting the one that Snake Eyes just jumps onto and, like, flips over and knocks him out. You know they didn't survive because he didn't see the parachute. What we really need is an accessory pack with a bunch of parachutes. Hit the generic Cobra and Joe rifles.
Actually, that would be a bad idea. Forget the parachutes.
No, the parachutes would be awesome.
Have a generic accessory pack where it's like, here's like cartoon accurate weapons for each side.
I don't like, understand why
5 of each.
Yeah, I don't understand why Hasbro doesn't do this for this and for the Legends figures.
No one cares about the Legends figures here, Bobbie.
I do. And like they could have just a crap ton of accessories for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they don't.
Joe's, you could have grenades, the cartoon accurate weapons, all the different style bladed weapons you want to include with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, for you can stop making Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
So someone was asking this on the forum the other day, on Reddit, I think, and they were openly questioning like, what's the figure that we have that represents the farthest end of the line any of them are, and they think it's Kamakura. Is it Kamakura? No, Kamakura is Snake Eyes' friend's son, right? I'm thinking of the guy that has like he's a ninja, but he has like kind of like a camouflage look with like a black kind of deal with the thing back behind his neck and all that. I know all that makes no sense whatsoever, but because I don't think it's Kamakura. No, that's Snake Eyes' friend's son. That guy. Who's that?
Ralph Nunchuck Baducci.
Nunchuck. Don't ignore the rest of it, because he's from like the Ninja Force series, which would have been in like '92 or '93. The only thing farther ahead of him would have been like the space stuff, and I mean maybe super technically like the Night Creeper, because it has the head from the Night Creeper 2, which was also in that same line.
You better show me one where all of his weapons are stowed. Okay, his swords go on his hip, not on his back like you would think.
Okay, but so the point is, I think he's the guy that's like the farthest into the original line that has gotten a figure. And no one can figure out why they randomly made him when there's so many other Joes to make.
Well, because of that sweet, sweet claw action.
Now, oh, you know who I want to see a figure of? Billy. Cobra Commander's one-eyed, one-legged son. He never had a figure in the original line because he's not in the cartoon. He's from the comics. When her Cobra Commander like decided to take the whole Cobra thing on the road.
Him?
Yes. I think. Probably. Like the Collectors Club might have made a figure for him, but he never had one in the real line. Yep.
Alias William Kessler. He was trained in ninjutsu.
Yes. He does not like his father. He was trained by Snake Eyes.
Line Master in Storm Shadow.
Yeah, them too. Yeah, him. Maybe someone like Dr. Venom, who's a comic character that never got a figure. Quinn the Eskimo. You know,
Would they have the rights for Quinn the Eskimo?
I assume they would. But like they need to fill in the blanks, or like some of the people from the Devil's Due books, like Zartan's daughter, who I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Wraith. Look him up if you've never seen him before. Super advanced prototype stealth armor that Destro was developing.
And I'm guessing someone stole.
I think he was actually entrusted with it. Then later on, the Baroness kind of had a problem with him. But yeah, he'd be a cool figure for Cobra. Well, probably the Iron Grenadiers, but you know what I mean. But then we also need Voltar. Oh, you're gonna look it up. Great.
Wait. What? Why is he in purple and gold?
Because he's part of the Iron Grenadiers. He's one of Destro's like kind of leader guys.
Is he missing an eye?
I think so.
And he has a robo eye?
Probably.
And he has a vulture.
Yes, he's Voltar. He has a vulture.
Oh.
You know, another guy on Destro's team's missing an eye. Now that I think about it, Overlord. But yeah, so I want to see some of the crazy stuff from the cartoon. You know, like I think is it Stalker. I think got turned into a whale by Doctor Mindbender. Um, although that would just be a figure of a whale. But like, we've talked about this in the last episode. But like, I want to see Raven, the black woman who's a some kind of viper, Strato Viper. Yeah, Strato Viper, or Mira. And with Mira, you need both a regular head and then also like the blue skin one, you know, for where she can like breathe underwater. I'd like to see Eevee, the female range viper, and Ambush because he doesn't have a figure yet. But yeah, just a bunch of figures like that. I don't think we have the twins in suits yet. They spent half the time in the cartoon in suits.
Do we have a motor viper yet?
No, but I think the stun as a vehicle is almost a size that they can make. So I think they're going to hold off on that. But like the Strato Viper, they're never going to make the Night Raven because it'll be like 10 feet long. So I would expect them to just be like figures at some point.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that you do. Well, Raven would be a female body, but I like to see those. Maybe Baroness from that episode where she gets a hold of that conch that allows her to control any man that hears the tone from it. So she takes over Cobra, and then just has like a bunch of female Cobra soldiers around her at that point. Which I think is the only time you saw if there were female Cobra soldiers, except for when they go to the alternate reality. I think her army's mostly women there too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, those I've said before, the synthoids, but have them like mid melting, so you can see if they're like goo.
Yeah.
Dr. Mulaney, so he can put the formula into Shipwreck's head. Civilian versions of all these guys for those random episodes where they take time off and go home and find out Cobra's taken over their hometown. I think that happened to Flint. But yeah, definitely things like that. And again, anything we're still missing from the movie. Globulus. We're getting Nemesis Enforcer.
Yeah.
The Royal Guards. Maybe a Cobra Commander as like Cobra Lawman. Complete with Spore action. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you'd like to see, Chad?
Vehicles. I want vehicles.
Yeah.
That was half the appeal of G.I. Joe was the vehicles.
Yeah, I saw a guy's video where he's talking about how that's going to be a major limiting factor in all this. Because this scale just does not lend itself to vehicles. Because of how big they have to be.
Yeah.
You can make the small ones. Like you can make like Slaughter's Triple T probably.
I want to go much bigger than that.
You probably could have made Copperhead's boat. You can make the Fire Bat, the Fang helicopter for Cobra. Obviously, we have the Trouble Bubble. We got the Stinger and the Vamp, which means they can make the Vamp too. It's the same body, just different. But it has a missile system on the back. The Devilfish, maybe the Piranha for Cobra.
But people like the bigger ones, like the Well.
Oh, I know. They want like the Space Shuttle launch complex that we had, the Defiant. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Even though that would be like, I don't know, the size of a Yugo.
Yeah.
Or the Mobile Command Center, the thing that in like 3 3/4 inch scale is like 4 stories tall. So in this scale, we'll be worried about the size of my HasLab Sentinel in terms of height, and then similar like length.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean at that point it may as well be like, all right, guys, like $1,000 the Terradrome, or do what the 3 3/4 inch people are doing. How they made the giant Cobra flying saucer from the opening of one of the 2 movies. The thing's like, I don't know, I think it's like 3 feet around. It's huge. Speaking of which, as far as the flying saucer things, the October Guard, we could have figures of them.
We need the snake.
Snake armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a standalone release, that way it doesn't come with any one set figure.
I would put a generic Cobra Soldier in it.
Yeah.
Well, that way people might have another way to actually get a hold of them.
Yeah. Nope. Standalone, though, you can put whatever figure you want in there.
Well, you can still put whatever figure you want in there.
The idea is to buy multiples.
That's why you put a generic Cobra Soldier in there. You can never have enough of those guys. But yeah, I don't know. Don't know who else we would need after that. Well, eventually we'll need Scoop, but he needs to have 2 figures. He needs to have one because he initially was a Crimson Guard undercover, so he'd need the Crimson Guard body also. Maybe a 2-pack.
1 head, 2 body.
Well, with Scoop, he's got the helmet. So once the helmet comes off, which it probably would.
You have it to where the helmet comes off.
But yeah, you've got him. I don't think we have Airtight yet, do we?
I don't think so.
Yeah. We need Wild Bill on a horse.
Wild Bill's coming, not with a horse.
But he needs a horse.
Well, sorry, you get the Dragonfly instead.
I don't want the steel horse. I want a horse. In that one episode where they have to, I think, stop a train robbery in progress or something.
No.
Come on, Chad. You know these ludicrous ones could sell if they marketed them right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about all I've got on the Joe front.
About all I got.
All right. So, that Sentinel. How many should I buy?
Why don't you people give them suggestions down below?
Yeah.
How many should he buy?
It's $180. In theory, I won't be charged for a year for it. One guy's already done the math. For 2 of them, if I put away $33 a month, I'll have all the money whenever it releases.
Here's a suggestion.
That's like the same amount as if I wanted to help a starving child somewhere and get like correspondence with him, according to Sally Field. If I remember right. Sally Field? Sally Struthers. He's Sally Struthers.
Struthers.
Yeah.
I
don't think so. She was too busy with the bandit.
Here's my suggestion, Bobby. It's a year until it comes out.
Yeah.
It's how much?
$179.99. But here's the real kicker. It's free shipping. Because someone's already figured out that the limit is $999 of them. And they're like, well, on the one hand, that's a lot of money. But on the other hand, like, we're going to cripple Hasbro with that free shipping.
My suggestion, 1 a month.
Well, no. Wait.
You order 12 of them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's not open. The window to order them isn't open for that long.
You order 12 of them. You set aside $180 every month for it.
Okay, so I want to briefly talk about something else related to this topic because it keeps coming up. At this point, I think these people are just like, I think they're actually stupid. I think we're past ignorant. I think we're into stupid.
Okay, what topic?
And there's like 4 different discussions on the Marvel Legends Reddit for this figure from various, like, there was just the initial, like, here's the computer render that showed up 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the here's the actual thing from New York Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the hey, here's a thread for people that hate this thing and don't want it. Then I don't remember what the 4th one was.
Here's a thread for people who love this and want it.
In all of them, people keep talking about scalpers. And like 1 or 2 people are fighting the good fight and trying to explain, like, this is made to order. You can order as many as you want, up to 999. Like, there is no limiting factor on this. How in the world is this scalping? And like, they just like keep going. And it's like people like try to explain it to them again and again. They're like, this cannot in any way, by any reasonable person, be considered scalping. Everyone can order them. You have this, we have like a month and a half window of opportunity. You have a year to come up with the money. You can order as many as you want, up to 999. And I'm pretty sure if you wanted more, like, you just make another account. So, like,
or that's one purchase.
Yeah, and so, but that still gets met with, yeah, well, the scalpers, and it's like, what are you talking about? What scalpers? And at the very least, some people are like pushing back and like, this thing isn't even out yet. Can we save the outrage till it actually comes out? And like, and the more people that buy this in quantity, like you're assuming these so-called scalpers are going to do, the longer it will take to be worth selling because there will be more of them because it's made to order.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just baffles me that just the continuing ignorance on this topic. I think these people either, it's willful ignorance for sure, but I think they're just like, I think it's come down to, I almost think it's envy, as in like, man, I wish I could do that because clearly these people are going to make money because the cope is astronomical. Where they're just like, the scalpers, they're going to make like $10 on this. And everyone's like, no, they're probably going to make more than that.
Yeah,
because like, I don't know if you paid attention to the last Comic-Con we went to. Well, people were charging for the Hiss tank. It was essentially double what it cost in the HasLab.
Yep.
And most of those were without the figures.
Mm-hmm.
And they were selling. Like, that was open-ended. That was open for a month and a half. Anyone that wanted one could order one. And like, I don't know. So, I don't know if they're bots, if this is just like, I should stop reading the comment sections on everything because they're just filled with ignorance. Probably that one. But
yeah.
But I don't know if this is like our educational system has just completely failed these people, that the reading comprehension just doesn't exist. And like, I feel sorry for the people that are actually like fighting the good fight, laying out like multi-paragraph explanations of like supply and demand and everything, and like trying to educate them on economics, and it's just not getting through at all. And I'm just like, you shine on, you crazy diamond. Like, I'm with you in spirit, but like, you're completely wasting your time. And I don't know. And it's one of those things that just drives me crazy whenever I see that. And like, this kind of plays into one other thing that I just want to very briefly touch on. Chad, I want your opinion.
Yeah.
There's another guy. I can't think of his Total Party Skills is his channel, and a lot of his videos are him just literally out in the wilderness talking about RPG stuff, and he touches on politics a lot too. And he's very much a both sides suck kind of guy. And he brought up something, and he'll post like lengthy things onto YouTube. So that's like where his main audience is, but literally like a post, Okay, so they show up in your feed, but it's not a video. It's you following me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they posted one just a couple weeks ago, And it got me thinking about something. He was talking about the use of AI for artwork. And he was talking about, like, well, this was right after the CEO of Wizards of the Coast is like, oh yeah, everyone uses it. After they've been, like, derided repeatedly, and after they've, like, gone against their own people saying, oh no, we're not going to do that. Now he's sitting there like, there's not a guy I know that doesn't use it. And so obviously that means we're going to be seeing AI artwork going forward in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
So Hasbro is going to do that. You know other major companies are going to do that. They're not going to suffer for it. Who's going to suffer? It'd be like if me and you made something with AI artwork. Because they'll attack us. Because we're a target that they can actually affect, for one thing. But also, like, just this, oh, how could you? You're part of the community. How could you do that to us? We expect that out of these evil assholes over here, but not you. Meanwhile, we're the people that actually need to use it because we don't have a huge art budget.
Yep.
You know? And so, looking at that, also taking that concept to reselling. They have a problem if I walk into Walmart, buy a thing, presumably hang on to it for a little while, and then resell it for a higher price. They have no problem with Walmart buying something from Hasbro and immediately reselling it for a higher price. And it's like, where's the disconnect here? Like, you know everything you buy, unless you buy it straight from the manufacturer, there are middlemen, several of them, who are increasing the price every step along the way. You have no problem with all that. With the corporations that you call evil at every step you can, you're totally fine just pissing away all your money with them. But me, whenever I do it, all of a sudden you have a problem with it.
Yep.
Why is that? Why is it that, like, we're totally cool with these evil things from the big corporations, but the moment someone else that actually is, like, trying to feed their family or something does it, oh, piss on them. Like, where's the mentality? What's driving this?
You're a person. You're supposed to be better than a faceless, nameless corporation.
Well, okay, but I can use that same argument against them. Why are they supporting the nameless, faceless corporation? You know,
I don't know. But that's what it is. You are a person. There is a connection of of them going, I don't think people should be doing this. But when it's a corporation, a legitimate business, then it's a business. It's meant to do that.
Okay.
So,
fair. Okay, go ahead. I have a counter.
In other words, if you want to be protected from these people calling you a scalper, solution, pay a few dollars for a business license and get a company name. And sell everything under a company name.
I should actually be already doing that.
That way, no one can go, you shouldn't be reselling this.
I should actually already be doing that. But and I actually contemplated doing that at one point whenever it looked like I could keep the churn going as far as sell the stuff, hold on to the money, buy the next batch of stuff, and grow and grow. But then, bills happened.
Bills always happen.
Yeah, but they weren't happening as much at the time. So, but here's my counter example. Do you think any of these people would sell their house for less than they paid for it, or for what they paid for it, if the market is telling them they could sell it for twice what they paid for it?
Nope.
Exactly. How is that any different? How is that not scalping? They have a one-of-a-kind item. Their house and that land only exists there. That is the rarest of possible things. They have cornered the market. They control the asking price completely. If what I do is scalping, how the hell is that not? By their own logic. Which I know they don't employ because they're illogical. But
well, most of those people probably also don't own their own house.
Well, this is true. They also probably don't actually believe in private property because, they're probably proto-commies, but,
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, I would. And I will. So, all you gotta do is look at the other things they say, because then they'll sit there and turn around and start crying about capitalism. And it's just like, I get that capitalism is not perfect. Fair enough. It is definitely not.
Right now, it's the best solution we have.
Yes. Very similar to democracy. It's the worst solution, except for all the others. So, kind of like, I don't know, I don't think this is going to be a political statement, but here it goes. Kind of like whenever people complain that people from America are like, this is the greatest country on earth. I think that some people that say that, but I think a lot of people that hear it are taking that to mean that those people think that the country is perfect.
No.
And like you can ask most of the people that say that, like, no, it's not. It's not perfect. Like there's in the founding documents to create a more perfect union. We acknowledge there are problems. And at least for most of our history, we tried to kind of solve them. So, I get the sentiment, but like the counter sentiment, I think it's people are hearing something else. Because no, we are not perfect, not at all. But I also noticed those people aren't in any hurry to move anyplace else, so kind of think they think the same thing. But yeah. Anyway, hopefully I didn't piss anyone off with that one, but kind of the way I feel about things. By the way, for what it's worth, I think there's plenty of other countries that are clearly like in the running. There's just things here and there that I don't personally care for. And if those people were to tell me that they think their country is the greatest on earth, I think they legitimately believe that. So, and then there's the people that are like, I will take my chances on this rickety raft in shark-infested waters to get the hell out of here and get to any place else. Clearly, they don't think their country's the greatest on earth. And then there's other people that are like, it's not even a contest. And I'm like, yeah, but things are ranked. Like, someone's got to be on top. Like,
yep.
And maybe it's not us. I don't know.
Depends on the metric you're measuring by.
Yeah. I think it's more of like a whole, like, because by most metrics we're definitely not.
No.
But a lot of those metrics also, like if you read it, like with education, and it's like, okay, we're not number one, but at the same time we handle things a lot differently than a lot of other countries. Where like here, you kind of have to stay in school up to a certain point. Other countries don't do that. A lot of other countries are like, well, clearly things aren't working out for you. Have you considered the street? Get out. Or like, have you considered the trades? Go over there. Learn how to swing a hammer. That's not a degradation of the trades. Those people are very clearly important to society.
I used to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I used to do concrete construction, like literally building the future kind of stuff. Like, we will get nowhere without those people. That's not me downgrading them.
Trades, you can learn how to weld. There are places you can write your own check with welding.
Yeah. Also, jobs not likely to be exported.
Nope. You can be a lineman, working on power lines, a job not likely to be exported or, handed over to a robot.
Yeah. But anyway.
Or AI.
Yeah, so anyway, like if you read into it, like some of the things, you've got to realize that numbers don't mean what you think they mean. People say numbers don't lie. Yes, they do. They've clearly never encountered the phrase, there's lies, damn lies, in statistics. And obviously by the descending order of those, you should figure out what statistics is considered in that equation.
You also got to realize any polling done that way, you can manipulate the output of it to reflect whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. Polls are... Unless you actually look into the methodology, like figure out what the question was, the sample size. I mean, when I hear the news go on about polls, I'm like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like in the aggregate, you might be able to get a picture of what things might be like. Anyway, we're probably veering off into the danger zone here. So I don't know. It's got a little.
I don't know. We're literally asking for polls on how many Sentinels you should be buying. What G.I.Joe Classified figures we want.
Hold on. First of all, that first question, the only real poll, I don't know what this we is. You asked that, not me. And the rest was us discussing. If everyone else wants to chime in, they can go right ahead.
But, yeah, then they're throwing their vote in, and it becomes the poll.
No, the only polls we've conducted, because I have conducted a few, had like 4 votes.
Oh, yeah. When are we getting around to those, by the way?
What? I didn't remember what the questions were.
Battletech factions.
Oh, well, I never did poll on that.
Yes, you did.
I don't think I did.
You did.
Yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. But yeah, we'll get around to that. Hopefully, sometime in the near future. But no, we actually have a few more followers on Twitter now, or X, I suppose. But yeah, we've gone on for quite a bit longer than I intended, Chad. So we probably better wrap this up. So
Yep, because we had one vote each for Northwind Highlanders, the Rasselhog Dominion, Comstar, aka Space AT&T, and one vote for Clan Seafox.
wow, how did that happen? Like no house, like the one clan that's Space Walmart. Wow.
And if I go back to this video, which I don't think I made note of which video it is, I'm pretty sure the comments are going to like include other people now.
Yeah, could be.
But this was at the time.
All right, well, we'll make that a future project. So I already have the music for the Northwind Highlanders, by the way. So just got to make the video. But anyway, folks, I think we're going to end it there because I anticipated us being done like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So,
I blame you getting off track.
yeah, it's probably my fault. Don't worry about it. I've got big shoulders. I can handle the responsibility.
Good, because you have been so far.
Yeah. So anyway, that's about all we've got. I guess let us know down in the comments about any of that you want to hear more about, less about. You want to see pictures of any of this stuff? Because we're trying to do this as a podcast, but at the same time, I know obviously you're watching it on YouTube, some people. So, because whenever we just kind of really start going on some of this stuff, I'm sure some of you are like, what in the holy hell are these people talking about? So, if pictures would help, let us know. I'll edit some in. Not to this, because obviously you're going to comment after you see this, but I mean, I might edit some into this just so people have a rough idea of some of the Lego stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
Depends on how I'm feeling at the time. Because I don't know if I've said this before, but whenever I edit these, I usually just have it on in the background. Or I just pick 5 random spots, make sure the picture and sound look okay, and fire it through the editor. Which is how I miss whenever, the microphone cuts out occasionally. Because that's happened in some videos. But yeah.
Usually probably when I'm talking, right?
No, it just randomly gets crackly sometimes. I don't know. It's usually whenever we're over at Jim's. I haven't had that problem much with this one. And it's definitely an electrical interference thing. I think it's because the wires are too close in the back, but there's no way around it because they plug right in right next to each other in the back of the camera, the power and the audio.
Yeah.
So I think one might not be shielded properly or something. But anyway.
Sounds like new cables are needed.
That's all speculation. I'm not an electrician. He kind of is. But, right?
Yeah, they probably don't have anything that most of them have on the older power cords, you'd have the cord, and then right here you'd have that cylinder.
Yeah.
That was meant to help cut out interference like that.
Yeah.
But we've gotten away from that because digital.
Yeah.
Supposed to be better.
Yeah. Well, I'm eyeing another microphone that I think will help some of our problems. It's
more lapel mics.
Well, I looked at that option, and we might go that route. But the big problem there is the one that has 4 of them, which is what we'll need for the other podcast, is $175, and we can't just get 2 sets of 2.
Downgrade your Sentinel purchases to 11. Problem solved.
No, because I need this money now. Whenever I buy them. No, it's a Yeti Snowball, I think. Because I know the Yeti microphones are pretty good, but this one has 3 different functions.
I'm not gonna regret looking this up.
Look at it. Search for it on Amazon. Because I don't know what it could be anyplace else. That's always a danger when searching for anything on the internet. But I think it was the Snowball.
That thing?
Yeah, I think it's that one. Um, but it has a couple different features, and one of them is there are microphones on both sides of it, so you can turn it on to like dual. So like we would put it here, one to be facing you, one to be facing me. And I know they're good sound quality because I know a lot of people use them. And then another is like ambient. But the problem is it's a USB mic, which means we can only have one plugged in because we're using phones. I'd have to do a setup where we're using a laptop because then I could have more than one plugged in. But then also need a program that'll split the audio into different files. Because that's the potential solution to like a lot of our problems. It's just that, well, ultimately we would need four of them. Unless that whole like back to back thing really works. In which case we get by the two of them.
Okay, with this thing, I have an issue with it.
Okay? So let's like kind of make it constructive and quick here.
I don't like when one of the selling points is stylish retro design.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't help that. So anyway, let us know down in the comments. If you know how to wire up 4 microphones that we can record on a camera, let us know that too, or point me in the right direction. Because I swear to God, like every time I try to search for this, like it comes up with nothing. I'm lucky to have found the lapel mics that had 4 mics. And like I don't know if I'm just putting in like the wrong terms or what. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Commenting and sharing are the things that help us grow the channel the most. We are very close to our goal here for October of 450 subscribers.
Really?
And as of before we started recording, we need 4 people. And like the rate we're gaining them, it's an achievable goal by the end of October. I think, in fact, 500 by the end of the year is an attainable goal. But
Found the ones
don't
we
jinx
need.
us. Okay, well, focus on this and let's send off here because we're basically there. So,
Got it.
so thank you, folks, for watching, and we will catch you later.